Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Hope you're having a great Thanksgiving weekend here in the States. My friends Ricky and Pam join me today, but Pam is the star of the show as we talk about her recent preview of the newest ship in the Disney Cruise Line fleet, the Disney Destiny. She's just back, and we talk about the overall experience, the theming of the Disney Destiny, the staterooms, dining, the storytelling, the characters, everything this new ship has to offer. And then I wrap up with a great question. Who is this ship really for? And she has a great answer to that question as well. Don't forget, today's podcast brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you do that holiday shopping. It's Black Friday. Support the show at the same time. Just click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You're the all-stars that make the show happen. I can't thank you enough for that. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this weekend. We'd sure love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2805 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Black Friday, Green Friday, Black and Gold Friday, whatever color Friday you want it to be, we're here. We love it. We're just tryptophan powered, turkey powered. Today, the best day because it's leftover day. Oh my gosh. Today's the best. I can't wait, but I got to get the ladies introduced so we can get rolling on this show. We got so much to share. Ricky is here from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com and the Mouse for Less. Don't forget, I'm just going to say this so she doesn't have to repeat it. Ornament exchange, card exchange happening. Last call. You better get it going right now. Get over to the Facebook page. Get it in. You got to email Michelle or Florence. Get it going. But Pam or Ricky, how was Thanksgiving? Was it great? Was it awesome? Did you have the cranberries? Did you have the pies? What's up?
So we actually drove down to Florida. So we had Thanksgiving with my mom and dad. And it was good. And now we are on our way to Epcot today for the Epcot first day of the Epcot Festival of the Holidays. It is one of our favorite days. Brian and I have made it an annual tradition now to kind of go to Epcot on the day after Thanksgiving for the Festival of the Holidays for the holiday cookie stroll. We love to do the cookie stroll every single year. There will be a vlog up on my YouTube channel. So we've already started. I've already, got my shots in the head of what I want to do. Yeah, so excited to get to do that and get to experience the Festival of the Holidays because it's such a great time of the year. Like I said, today is kickoff for it. So we're excited to do that. And then we are also staying at Universal Cabana Bay because it is Brian's birthday this weekend. And so we are, for once, going to get to celebrate his birthday in the Walt Disney World Resort. So, he wanted to stay at Cabana Bay. That's what he wanted. And so I was like, let's make it happen. So we are. So, yeah, it's going to be a really great weekend. And I'm not sure if we're doing Universal tomorrow or if we're going to do Disney tomorrow. Haven't made up our mind. Have an option to do both. So, we might pop over one and then the other. Who knows? It's going to be a really great weekend. So looking forward to it.
Sounds good. Two things. Got to get a picture with Kim because I think she's going to be taking some pictures over at Epcot.
I hope she'll be at
Maybe
Epcot the day after Thanksgiving. I know she was at Epcot on Thanksgiving. Yeah. So I will not be at Epcot on Thanksgiving Day. I can tell you that.
Be there the next day. And, I did hear that Cabana Bay's got bowling with Santa. So
I've heard that as well. And I am very curious.
Awesome.
So depending on how things work, maybe we'll try that. I guess I should probably look up that. And see, Kim's off on Friday. I guess I should look that up and see how I need to sign up for bowling with Santa.
You totally need to bowl with Santa. I mean, how many times do you get to bowl the big man?
I know, right?
Especially during his busy season. What's Santa doing bowling this time of year? Like, he should be making toys.
This up, actually. I'm gonna do that now.
Well, I guess he's not making toys like the elves are making toys.
Right. so he's got time to do some.
Shouldn't he
bowling,
be
I guess.
overseeing all this business? What's he doing down there bowling?
I don't know.
That sounds like something sketch. He shouldn't
Yeah,
be
it
chilling.
does.
Yeah, that's something he should be doing in January. He should be bowling. I don't know.
I
If you
mean,
see him, ask him about that. If you see him out there. Okay, anyway. Pam
right.
Forrester's here. She's the coder of the Magic for Less Travel, star of today's show. We got so much. We're talking. Pam, we could just say you met your destiny, but everybody's been saying that about everybody that just got off the ship. So I didn't want to title the show that because that's what everybody's titled the show the last week. But what's up,
I know.
Pam? I know. So
But it is that. It
is.
does lend itself to that, doesn't it? I mean, like, it's right there.
It is.
Right
I'll try
there.
to tweak it a little bit or something.
I
Yeah.
know. I
So-
know. Yeah, it's been great. Like, I've done a lot of really cool things, and the Destiny has certainly been a highlight for sure. So
So let's just jump into it. I mean, it's
all right.
Friday. I'll be listening maybe to a replay of the show with my homemade holiday sandwich on Wonder Bread, and it's going to be awesome. So I get to, and I'll be dreaming about this because a week from now I'll be getting ready to hop on a plane down to Lauderdale for the first time to get on the Destiny myself, and I'll be completing the Wish class trifecta, but on the Wish,
Yeah.
Treasure, and now the Destiny. So first impressions of this ship. What would you say? Let's talk
So
about the
there's
Destiny.
so much that I loved about this ship. First of all, I'm a huge Marvel fan. So the fact that we were going to get to see some heroes, like some of the ones from the Marvel universe, I think was really appealing to me. I think it was really interesting that Black Panther was sort of the one that we see right there in the Grand Hall, right? Because we've had so many different ones over the years, and this one was really interesting to me because I think it was the first one that came from like a live action, movie, right? I mean, when you think about all the other ones that we've seen, so I was really impressed with that, and it was very cool. And I think that it was so great that this ship sort of focuses on heroes and villains because that Grand Hall has a brand new like lighting package. And I know that we've all seen it on the Wish, right? And on the Treasure, where it's sort of, that sort of lights up. But this is even better than it was on previous ships. So I really loved how that sort of happened, that sort of really gives the whole heroes and villains thing, I think, sort of lends itself to so many different shows and interactions and character greetings and everything that you don't even have on the other shows. So my first impressions were the ship's gorgeous and it's very cool too.
So I was going to ask you, Ricky, I'm going to have you jump in here too with some questions. But my first question, again, I've never seen a Marvel movie, but I'm excited to jump in here and see this. But would you say at this point that this ship is, not in a bad way, but is more of an outlier from all the other ships because it leans more heavily into storytelling and theming than any of the others, even the Treasure? Because I love the Treasure, how they had the two characters that kind of had an overarching theme throughout the entire voyage from beginning to end, and they did interactive activities in the main hall throughout the cruise. Did they take that kind of to the next level with the Destiny sailing? I mean, would you say that?
Yeah, I think they did. I think like they learn each time they do some and sort of tweak the way they want to do it. And when I say like that there were heroes and villains, but it wasn't over the top Marvel. There just happens to be a Marvel character in the main, in that main hall. But when you think about it, like, so the restaurants are like, the Pride Land, and that sort of focuses on the Lion King. But then there's also DeVille's as one of the lounges. So there we're sort of, going into the villain thing. So I think it really invites guests who have either a hero or a villain that they really connect with to sort of find some activities that sort of lend themselves to that connection and expand on the story. I think it really does a great job with storytelling and embracing, that part of what they do so well.
This is perfect because my wife and I'll be on this, right? It's a couples cruise, and she sees me as a villain 90% of the time. And You know, before noon, she's definitely a villain, you know, and then she's a hero after that.
Wow.
She's kept me alive. I mean, for the last like 5 years for sure. I'd be dead if it wasn't for her 100% over at least the last year. I mean, she's definitely a hero there, but man, you poke the bear before like 10 in the morning. Phew, villain. This will be interesting. Like if you got to pick your team, this will be like if we got to sit in the Scar section in the Pride Lands. I don't know how that works, but you know, if you got to sit like in Mufasa or Scar, we might end up in Scar. I'm just saying it could be iffy. If they assign us a team, we might not be in Hercules. It could be iffy. Ricky, you got some questions.
So one of the things I've noticed a lot about the ship is, like you said, it relies a lot, obviously, on the heroes and villains. That's the whole point of the ship, but it relies a lot on characters that you don't see a lot, especially with the idea of the fact that there's a whole Hercules show. And I love the fact that Susan Egan is the fiery godmother of the ship because, you know, she is the voice of Meg, and Meg is one of, like, I mean, I am Meg. Let's just be perfectly honest. If you put the two of us together, it's my personality. But it's just one of those things where I do like to see that they are bringing in some of these unique, different characters. And you mentioned it again with like Cruella, but who are some of the other unique, like, villains and heroes that they've kind of brought into the ship that kind of make it more special and unique?
I know there's so many, and I have a Susan Egan story. So I've had the opportunity to see Susan Egan perform a few times. And when I was out, right before I got on the Destiny, I was out at Disneyland for the Earmark Summit, which is for agency owners. And Susan Egan was the person who performed there.
Oh my gosh,
us.
so she was doing double duty.
Yeah,
I mean,
she was.
like going back
she flew across the
yeah.
country with me. Yeah. And so then I had the opportunity to meet her. And then also we took a few selfies, maybe an elevator selfie or two. So anyways, she's awesome. And I was so glad. It was a surprise that she was going to be the godmother. We actually didn't know until very shortly before the naming
I love that
ceremony.
they chose her.
I do too, because she's great. Yeah.
A great choice of fairy godmother, especially when you think of how heavy Hercules is incorporated into this. I mean, in multiple places. So that and that's not a franchise that Disney really leans heavily on, especially nowadays. So I'm really happy to see the fact that they are kind of leaning heavily into that character and that story on this ship, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, me too. All right, so back to the characters. So when we got on the ship, from there's a balcony that are on this class of ship, right? And Spider-Man was greeting us as we got on the ship. So I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, at different times we saw all kinds of different characters there. Loki was there, and he had a whole kind of performance that sort of put the grand hall, you know, all these different lights, and, you know, he made his appearance known. So we saw tons of different characters, but I also wanted to say, just like the other ships in this class, there are different characters and movies featured in the rooms, right? So everyone was like, okay, I want this room, or I want this room, or I want this room. Well, when I walked in, the room that we had featured Raya. And I was like, whoa, Raya. Yeah. Like, that was really cool, because that was like an unknown kind of movie.
Yeah, it's definitely one that's not talked about a lot. No.
I know.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, right. So
that's not what Mike will get too, because he has no idea who Raya is. Yeah.
Right. But it was a fun movie, and I actually liked it.
It was a good movie.
Awkwafina was in it, and
yeah, she's great.
That was fun. So, anyways, but they also, you know, they had little things like that. Like there was the candy store, of course, is filmed after Edna Mode.
Yes, I saw that. We're all about that. Pam and I saw that both. We're like, we're going to be in Edna a la Modes a lot.
Edna a la Modes.
That's a great pun. I love that. Let's go.
It was so good. They did such a good job with that. Just like, I felt like this ship, even more than other ships, I felt like every time I turned a corner, it was like some little unique little thing, or some little like character that I don't get to see very often, or some like this themed after a movie that I don't always get to see. Like there is a whole Megara coffee shop. You know how this class of ship has those
Yes.
coffee shops off the lobby because Disney learned. Yeah, one coffee shop, not quite
Not
enough.
enough. No.
It's
So-
because kids
so
like my
they did
daughter that has to have the 7 brew all the time. Dude, they're no dummies. It's
Exactly,
crazy. Yeah.
exactly. But and then the rooms with that, and there was also a big Hero 6 room and a Hercules room, and so I was just I was like delighted with each of these things. Right? There's art featuring the bowler hat guy from
What?
I know, right? From Meet the Robinsons. The suites are really, you know, they're sort of really themed. There was a brave theme to the room. So I mean, it's like I feel like they've done such a fantastic job of putting more characters and more movies onto the ships, but in very subtle ways. Like it's the art, it's the name of the shop or the restaurant, it's the, you know, the little details here and there along the way that really show it. It's the room theme. It's in the elevators where one elevator has pictures of like villains and you see Cruella and all the bad guys there, Scar and Hades. I mean, like just the ways that they did that, I think it was really over the top. Like I bet the Imagineers had the best time designing this ship.
I'm sure they did. Yeah.
But I'm sure the guests get into that too, right? I mean, throughout the cruise,
Yeah.
that especially like at late at night. You know what I'm saying? You come from an adult venue, you've had a drink or two, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in the elevator that's the villain's elevator. You're going to be like, oh, I'm Scar. I don't know. It seemed like that would just lend itself to just being crazy. I don't know,
Yeah,
it's fun.
absolutely.
It sounds fun.
Like, Cruella
Bring it out in
Cruella
you.
had a fashion show.
I heard
in the
about
lobby.
that. So wait. I have a
Come
question about
prepared,
that.
people.
Okay.
Come prepared.
How did that go? Because I mean, obviously she can't get too vicious with people, but I suspect that it got a little interesting.
Well, and she was really she loved people who were dressed very much like her.
Aha.
So that was the thing. I think if you want to be on the winning team, maybe looking a bit like Cruella is the way to go there. But there were I mean, you know, people showed up in all different kinds of things. So they did a good job. But yeah, I mean, and there's like a Dr. Facilier show. And
That's cool.
I mean, there's just so many little things I think that are I think it's one of those ships that it's going to take a couple of times to see all the things. And I felt that way about the Wish and the Treasure too. I mean, I really did. I feel like with the bigger ship, there's a lot more opportunity to have things, you know, that people haven't figured out or seen yet or posted about, because I that's one of the joys is I think stumbling upon these things yourself.
Yeah, and I have intentionally kind of not gone on and looked at a lot of social media on this because I want to be a little unspoiled. You know, of course, like I've seen the Haunted Mansion bar on Treasure, you know, but I have not gone, even like your stuff. I've tried to stay a little bit away from it because I knew it was like going to come up in a few weeks. Like it wasn't, I had to wait 9 months or anything. It was going to come soon. So I've kind of tried to stay away from it to have a new experience. Like I have not seen any coverage of the Pride Lands restaurant.
Oh, that looks so amazing. Can I just say?
Because I fell in
Like-
love with the Coco restaurant. But again, it was a Mexican restaurant. Hello. I mean, but that it was like they were singing my song right there. But I'll be honest. I love the Lion King movie. I used to show that to my class illegally, probably.
The one movie Mike's actually seen.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Because the story is so good. I mean, the circle of life, right? I mean, it was just one of those things that it's emotional. I mean, it was a worldwide phenomenon when it came out because of the story. The story was so good. And to get a restaurant where you're going to have live entertainers and be able to see that brought to life. I mean, it's just like Festival Lion King and Animal Kingdom. It's one of the best things Walt Disney World has going on. And one of the very first dates that Pam and I went on, this is kind of little Mike in the Midwest, was we saw the Lion King, like the stage show when it came through the Fox Theater in St. Louis, you know, with like the puppets, the big, you know, people that wore the suits and stuff. And we were blown away. Paige was a little girl back then, and it was just so amazing to see that brought to the stage. And I'm not a play person. I don't go see musicals, but I walked out of that theater like, wow, you know, because of the music and stuff. And so I cannot wait to go see that meal. So were you blown away by it? Was that on par with like the Coco restaurant?
Yeah, I really couldn't believe the talent of the performers that they had and were able to get. Okay, we're on a cruise ship in the middle of an ocean.
That always blows me away
It's
when it comes to
moving.
performing. I know, like in any of the shows, I'm like, dude, the talent that this thing's rocking and you know, and they're
100%.
flipping and dancing and singing and playing instruments is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't just performers, it was musicians up there too. It was so good. It was such a great show. And the food, I think that they really paired it nicely with it. They offered us some new menu items that are not on other ships. And it is just interesting enough without being like totally crazy, right? That families won't know what to order or won't have anything that they can eat.
Real quick, what does hyena taste like?
Oh my gosh.
They did not have any hyena.
Okay, I was just
so
wondering. That'd be on on theme. That'd be pretty.
We were
crazy.
glad for that. Yeah. We were really glad for that. But yes. And the other one of the other lounges, Cask and Cannon, and that's sort of the place where they also serve appetizers and things like that too, was really, I mean, themed after some fantastic, pirate stuff from Disney, but they also have great food available. And it's really a nominal charge when you're there, but lots of great stuff, lots of good bar food, lots of good bar drinks, really interesting drinks. I feel like they're taking it up a notch in terms of drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. The specialty drinks, regardless of whatever kind you're ordering, there are so many from which you can choose, and they're so creative. So I think that's definitely worth doing. But Mike, you can go there and get like fish and chips. You can get wings. You can get loaded tater tots. You can get a burger.
Yes.
I mean, they have lots of good food items, fried shrimps, just stuff like that. I mean, lots of good things from which you can choose. So I think it's, definitely if there's a night that you're like, I'm not feeling this, or I've been to this restaurant or whatever, go to one of these lounges and think about getting food there too. I think it's a great option. I'm so glad that they've added that.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of in a pickle, right? Because I was trying to say, we got in on this late to book this cruise. Usually I book way out, but I want to not miss the rotational dining because I live 1923. Did not obviously want to miss the Pride Lands. Not a Marvel fan, and I've done the Marvel restaurant a few times on the other ships. So that might be an option because, again, I'm platinum. So you get that free meal. So again, Mr. Frugal here. I'm like, do we go to Palo on the platinum on the Marvel night and skip that? But I mean, do I want it? Because it's going to be a different experience. And I want to have the main dining room experience to talk about on the show, just to have the experience because it's still fun. I mean, even the last time on the Treasure, it was a great time. I mean, I didn't know the trivia questions that were on the screens, but I still had a great time with the people I was sitting with Ben. I still follow the guy that was our waiter on Instagram because he did the worm down the aisle to some 80s music. It was the wildest thing I ever saw. I'm not kidding. He did the worm to the 80s music. It was the craziest thing ever. And I follow him now on Instagram. But so do I want to miss that energy? I don't know, but do I want to do Paulo maybe? And like you say, Pam, here's another thing too. I used to be fundamentally, this is so stupid looking back on it like 10 years ago, I was against spending any extra money like on food on a cruise because everything else was included. Like, why would I like buy sliders at O'Gill's when I have all this other food that's already included with my cruise fare? But when you look at the cost of the whole cruise,
right?
Like, who cares if I'm paying $6 for some sliders that are stinking good while I'm playing trivia? Buy the sliders, dummy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so our cruise is from, I think it's from Sunday to Thursday, right? So Monday Night Football will be on that Monday night in Cask and Cannon. So, I'm getting wings and going to watch Monday Night Football in there. That's living life. So, because that's the place where they'll have the TVs. And so, yeah, I'm going to get some wings, watch some Monday Night Football, and live my best life. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way you have to approach it. Like in the big scheme of things, is this something. Is this where you're drawing the line? Like
Exactly.
it's
It's
this $20
$8.
expenditure?
Exactly. But I used to be so dumb because it was just like, oh, dude, I've already paid for the cruise. I'm going to milk it for. No, just buy the stupid thing. It's $20 out of, you're spending thousands on a cruise. Just have fun. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's, that's the way you need to go in. I think, I want to encourage people, first of all, to use the app and to make sure that you're checking for all these character interactions and these opportunities, because there are so many great characters. I think every time they release a ship, I feel like they offer even more opportunities to see characters. But in addition, on that last night, they have that, the kiss goodnight sort of ceremony where they have all these characters out there before they start that show. And then there's so many characters going on, all like they're there all around the grand hall. They're on the stage, they're on the balconies, they're on the other floors of the grand hall while all this is going on. So they're really sort of interacting so much with everybody as they're there. So don't miss that either. But I think that app, more than ever, it's good that you become familiar with it once you get on the ship. Like, take a moment, sit down, and like really look and see and mark some things that you want to make sure you don't miss. You can set a reminder to make sure that you don't miss them. That it becomes really important when there's so many things going on this ship, because you can easily miss things. And I don't, there are so many different characters. I don't want you to miss someone that you really want to see.
Yeah, those reminders are so clutch on that app. Just
they are.
When you're having breakfast in the morning, just if you even think you have a inkling that you might want to do towel folding or 90s sitcom trivia, that's going to happen at 7:30 between dinner and the show, just heart it, because then it's going to give you a reminder at 15, 20 minutes before the event, and then you can make the call. But what's going to happen is if you don't, you're going to totally, like Pam says, you're going to have stuff going on, but at least they'll give you a buzz. Hey, it's starting in 15 minutes. You can either go or not. That is key. Just heart everything. Not everything, but heart everything you think you might want to do.
Everything you may be interested in.
I think, again, the joy for me in cruising is the small, fun little trivias and the I love those kind of things. Did you discover anything like that besides the big stuff? Was there anything you did that kind of
everything? Literally everything. It was all little stuff.
I love the little things.
There were so many little things. Like, we turn the corner and there's Minnie in her superhero costume, and I was like, oh my gosh, there she is. Like, and I know we sort of had heads up on some of these things, but it was like, wow. Or getting off the ship at Castaway and seeing, the ship there at Castaway, like that was a cool thing. Or that main bar area that's sort of a multi-use thing. It is the Sanctum for Doctor Strange, which was so cool. There are drinks that are like levitating. There's just all kinds of cool things there. But one day I was there just to get some content, like was taking some pictures and videos, and they were doing like a Disney Cruise Line like magnet like coloring thing. So I was like, I'm making a magnet. I'm doing this.
I know how to color.
Let's make magnets. This sounds awesome.
Yes. So it was so cool. And then just checking out everything in the store. Like, there were different things that I hadn't seen before. I don't know. I came away really excited about this ship because I just felt like Disney's all about storytelling, and this is connecting guests with more stories than ever before. And not just great stories, like not just good stories, not just the good heroes, but the great villains that Disney has as well. I think that is something that there's so many people that sort of are like, you know what? I actually kind of like Cruella. I think she's interesting and she does all this, or
she's gotten a bad rep.
Right. Yes, exactly. Hades, he's not so horrible. Like, we're going to just, remember that he did some funny stuff too. So I think like it's fun to like a villain, right? And I think that this gives people the opportunity to sort of live out that story regardless of who they identify with.
And that's just the precursor to, Villain's Land, which, is opening up in a few years at the Magic Kingdom. So like Disney's getting their feet wet with the villains on this ship, I feel like, and they're really going to use that for what they can do in the future with Villain's Land too, I think. So that'll be fun.
100%.
By the way,
Lots of fun stuff.
Jennifer here in the Westplex of St. Charles County says she's loving the Disney Destiny talk with her Taco Bell dinner and her Disney Wish tumbler.
Nice.
Yes.
She's doing it right. That's exactly how you listen to the show live. That's why you tune in live. So let me ask you one other thing, Pam, because so they had the two characters, right? That kind of give you the kind of like host the cruise.
Yes,
just like
the
the
host
treasure.
the cruise.
So how was that?
That part's
Was that
cool.
fun? Is that cool?
It is, because it's like there is an ongoing story that gets built by everyone who's there on the cruise with you. And that's a really cool thing at the end. Like they talk about it at closing. They mention people by name. They get to know you, but they're great guides. They're a source of information, a source of entertainment. They're there with you while you're experiencing it, and they help you sort of experience it in the best way. And I love that. I think the way that they've done that has really helped too. I just, there are very few times I come away from a cruise being like, dang, that was really awesome, like in a new and unusual way. But I felt that way about this. Like I wanted to turn around and get right back on, because I felt like there were just so much that I wanted to explore more in depth. And I'm sure I'll be back on the show at some point, although I don't have something booked right now. Now I'm wondering if I should. Like I find myself like looking at different cruises and doing that. So I think that that's something, to do. And the other thing is I really enjoy how they have not only the rotational dining, but like you said, Mike, if you have experienced it or just want a night when you don't have to eat at your regular time, or you don't want the sit down meal, there are other options. They have that great Marceline market that is available before dinner that you can sort of do that. But then they also have that on deck food.
I do love that. Yes, I can get my Mexican food up and ribs, St. Louis style. By the way.
Exactly. They have the barbecue, they have the Mexican, of course, they have the pizza and burgers and hot dogs. So, I mean, they have that as well. So I think that there's all kinds of things that, you can experience if you want to do that. I think the shows are fantastic. Hercules and Frozen and Seas the Adventure, of course, are going to be like your main shows there. But I think when you get on, before you get on this ship, sort of take a moment to think about watching some of these movies if you haven't seen them, some of the ones that have been featured, because I think it will help you make those connections with the characters and with the ship in different ways. So
I feel like that was aimed at me. Okay.
No. Yes, you should watch a couple movies.
Okay. Let's see. I've seen Lion King. I've seen the 90s movies. I haven't seen Hercules, but I know the song.
That was a 90s movie.
You should see Hercules. It's
Hercules is
good.
good.
Yeah.
It is good. It's
Maybe
like
you watch the first Black Panther.
Hercules isn't the one where he climbs the Eiffel Tower, right?
No, that's the Hunchback.
Hunchback.
Okay. I get those all confused. Okay, yes. Let's see. So we've been talking a lot about adults, right? There's a lot of stuff, we got all the lounges and stuff. What'd you see the kids doing? What'd the kids enjoy?
Oh my gosh, the kids clubs. And you get to go down.
Oh, the slide,
right?
Nice.
I'm doing that during the open house. That? I don't care if I'm old and my bones crackle.
There were plenty of adults going down.
I did I did on the Treasure twice.
Yes. So you get to go down Penelope Slide to do that. And that's very cool. They did a great job on that class of ships, really sort of making a unique and fun way for kids to enter the kids club. But don't despair, because there's all kinds of other stuff going on too. You still have the Star Wars area, which, again, they did a really great job with that. You have all kinds of things going on in the kids club. It's just, I don't know how kids decide what to do, really and truly. There's just so many things to look at.
Well, and that class of ship has that hero zone, which it's crazy. I don't understand this, like the physics of that, because it's such an amazing area. It's gigantic when you walk in there, but it's hidden. always forget it's there because you got to go up forward, and it's really weird to find. And then when you walk in there, it's like, wow, this is like a whole gymnasium, with basketball hoops and
Oh yeah, for
obstacle
sure.
course. And upstairs, you got the ping pong tables and air hockey. It's a great indoor venue because what they did, they solved the problem of a lot of those things on the other ships are outside. And like, it's hard to play ping pong because it's so windy outside all the time, which it's great to do that when you're in port. But as soon as that ship's moving, it's almost impossible to play ping pong because the ball's so light and the wind blows it everywhere. But in that venue, it's climate controlled. There's no wind. It's just comfortable, and they can host you. It's great. It's a great venue, but I almost think it's like it's so hidden. Nobody knows about it. I would guess 25% of the guests never get up into that space and see it.
Yeah,
what do you
that's
guys think?
probably true. That's probably true because it's sort of out of the way, exactly like you said. It's there's so many, and they do fun activities
It's a
there.
great
But
space.
I know the other thing is the Marvel Academy too. That is so incredibly cool. So it is the place where you go in and you're going to want to use your band, your Magic Band Plus for this, but you create a profile and you're actually in front of a screen sort of fighting off different characters. And the guy explaining it to us said, as you level up, you get access to more outfits that your character on screen will be wearing and different adventures and whatnot. And he said they have kids who come in, and like their whole goal is to get as many of the outfits, as many of the adventures as whatever that they can. But what a cool thing. It's incredibly interactive and definitely worth checking out too.
So this is kind of the answer to the midship detective agency for the Destiny kind of thing.
Sort of. It is sort of this interactive space. It's just for kids 3 to 10, so they can sort of train with Avengers.
Ooh, why do the kids get all the fun
suit.
stuff? I want to win. Come on now.
Well, go during the open house.
Okay, yeah. Well, I want all the outfits for my
Make sure that
virtual
you do it
person.
because it is really cool. Steve did it, and he fought a bunch of people as Spider-Man.
Oh my
that was really
gosh.
cool. Yeah. So
Yeah,
loved it.
I like to collect virtual outfits and
right,
win.
virtual outfits. Yes,
I want to
Mike
walk
wants
off
to
the
collect
ship.
them all.
Like, can I take my virtual outfits with me? Like when they boot me off, on Thursday or whenever it is, got to get off. So, did you guys do any like tastings or anything like that with friends or anything like any seminars, stuff like that? While you
We didn't because they just didn't have them available.
Oh, that's true. Because there's a preview.
sailing.
That's right. You guys were on a preview. That's right.
But we did eat at Enchanté.
Oh, tell me about that.
Right.
Right?
We're not doing Enchanté. So what's that all about?
I know.
I just
so
like to
it
say
was really,
Enchanté.
it was such a fun experience. It really is. And it's a multi-course meal. I don't even remember how many courses were there, but the great thing was that the chef was actually on board, and he is a 3 Michelin star chef, has designed this menu, and it's just so incredible. Like, I can tell you all the things that we ate, but it wouldn't do it justice. And just to say that when you go there and eat, it is so many little bites of things, right? But it's like the best little bite of whatever you're eating that you've ever had in your whole life. Like, for instance, one of the courses was a scallop course, right? This scallop
You're
course,
killing me. I love
it was like, it comes out like in a sauce with some things on it. But then they pour another sauce on top of it, and there's foam on top of it and whatever. And they're telling us the best way to eat it, like the perfect bite. It's like every bite is the perfect bite. Each one of the times each time you eat something, it is the perfect bite. And there's just something about that is so very cool. And I realize it's an additional expense, but it's not something you get to do at home. And it's one of those meals like you'll remember, like, this is one of the best meals I've ever had. And it really was. And the little bites of things make it so it's not quite so overwhelming, because I know that that's something that can happen. But they really do such a fantastic job. The service, the ambiance, the music, and everything that the chef prepared was just fantastic. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, Scott and I always say Scott and I agree because we talk about cruising a lot. We're cruise nuts. And it is fun because he was hoping there was going to be a formal night on his for Thanksgiving. And he doesn't know if there is or not. But it's fun to have that opportunity to dress up and go out and have that fancy experience when you're on a cruise, because in the real world, you don't get that very often. I mean, in my world, I hardly ever get out of a hoodie, you know, because I work from home. I go to Taco Bell. We go to the local places, which are basically like bars and grills. You know, Texas Roadhouse is fancy for us. I'll throw on some jeans. But it is kind of nice when you're on vacation to you know, in our case, Palo is about as fancy as we like our food. But I mean, for us, you know, dress up, go to Palo and get pampered and have the fancy food. But I think a cruise gives you that opportunity where it's comfortable. You're going to get amazing food. You're going to get to go to a fancy place, but the wait staff takes care of you. That even if you're, you know, Mike from the Midwest, that they're going to read the room and not make you feel like a fish out of water, and explain the foods to you and give you something you're going to like, even if you're not used to. That's what I appreciate about Disney Cruise Line. Like, I can order stuff at Palo and I always get a good meal, even at dinner. And I don't have to worry that, you know, I'm in a place that I'm going to order something or step on, you know, do something wrong. You know, I always feel comfortable at Palo on a ship, but it's fun to get dressed up and get some pictures and stuff like that too. Have a date night.
I think that they love walking you through like this experience. You can tell how proud they were. The chef came out a couple of times and he was just like, was everything good? And we were like, it was fantastic. Like, it wasn't just good, it was great. And that it's fun. It was fun to see how much pride he took in that food, and how much just thought must have gone into everything that he put on that tasty menu. And the sauces, I'm telling you, the hours that it takes to prepare these sauces is incredible. So
I believe it.
Anyways, it's just it was a great meal, and just, you know, I just an overall great experience. I think just added to my experience with walking away from that ship and just being like, okay, like, this was a great ship, and there were just so many very, very cool things to see. And I haven't even talked about the things that were on other ships, like the Haunted Mansion bar and you know, those kind of things. Again, such a great experience. But yeah,
I have to admit, like, when they were introducing the ship and everything, like, this was the ship that I was the least excited about, you know.
Agree.
I'm not the biggest too.
And I'll be honest, right now, I've not sailed it, and this is the ship that I'm least excited for. So I'll be honest, but I'm going to sail it, so we're going to come back and talk about it. Just because I don't know any of these characters, but we'll see.
Well, I do, and I still wasn't excited about it. Like, I was like, you know, and there are things that I'm still like a little iffy about. But after seeing and hearing about this ship a little bit more, even having not sailed on it or the Treasure yet, I still think the Treasure is going to be my favorite, you know, this class ship when I finally get on it. But, you know, the Wish keeps falling for me further and further, and I'm like, wow, you know, they really they did learn, I feel like, from the Wish, and they you know, they upped it with the Treasure. And again, I don't know that they'll have, you know, ever come anywhere close with the, you know, because the Treasure just sounds so amazing. But, you know, like I said, I wasn't excited about the Destiny, and now, like, after hearing things about the Destiny, I am excited about the Destiny. I would like to sail on this ship, even though at first I was like, if I get on it, I get on it. If I don't, I don't. And that's kind of how I feel about the Wish right now. Yes, it's a great ship, and you know, anytime I can sail, I put me on a ship, I'm good. But the more I hear about it, the more I'm just like, I think the Wish just keeps falling down further and further, which is a good problem for Disney to have, because like, they've made these ships so fantastic, and they've upped the game as they've gone on. And I'm curious to see what they do with the next ships, because they're also still going to be of the same class. So as far as we know, so it'll be really interesting to see where they go from here as well. So, although I will admit the Adventure, which, you know, is the one sailing out of Singapore, is the most interesting to me out of all of them. But that's because that was just not a ship that anybody ever.
That's such an outlier,
so
right? Yeah, I don't even.
It's totally an outlier, exactly, and that's why it's interesting to me, just that ship. But, you know, the Destiny, I mean, everything that I've seen about it has me more and more hyped for this ship. So I feel like that's a really, really good thing. So I think that people who maybe have been like me were on the fence a little bit about the Destiny, I think you better hop that fence. I think you better get on board, and I think you better get on board this ship, because I think you're really gonna like it.
That's super well said, because that's kind of where I was too. And it's kind of, you know, I fell in love hard with the Treasure. I love the Treasure.
And I do think that's going to be my favorite out of this class right
because
now.
It's got a lot of theme park connections to it, and I'm a theme park guy.
Exactly
But I'm excited. Pam's got me excited for the Destiny, and like I'm going with an open mind, and I can't wait to see it. I think I'm a great test case for it because for somebody that doesn't know the IP, like, but I'm still open to all the like fun of all the characters and all the story. So I can't wait to do that. So final question for you, Pam, as we wrap this. So let me ask you this as we wrap this. Okay, if somebody wants to go on. The question is, who's the Destiny for? Like, because this is the most themed ship, you know, like if you're just a Disney fan, is it best you take your first cruise on kind of, I don't know, would you say like a general Disneyland cruise ship, like a fantasy or a dream that's kind of more down the middle, like a classic ship, like the Dream of the Wonder or the Magic of the Wonder? Are you looking at destination? Like there's so many, you know, it used to be so easy when there were 4 ships or 2 ships. Now there's just, it's so specific to destination, islands. You got 2 private islands instead of 1. You got, you know, these different classes of ships. What are your considerations here, especially now with the Destiny?
I know it's so hard because there are some new ships that are coming that are going to be smaller in size too. Than this class of ships.
Which is a good thing. Some people see they're smaller and they think, oh, why? But that's a good thing.
I agree. So for me, when I'm looking at, if I know I want to take my family on a Disney cruise, right? I'm going to look at the itinerary first. I honest to God am. And first I will look at when my family can cruise. Because I know if there are certain times that only, you know, that certain people can cruise, some people don't have the luxury of being cruising all year long. So that becomes specific. And then I'm going to look at the itinerary and where I can sail from. And I think that's where you sort of have to start your process in looking through to see what that is. Think about how many nights you want to go. Are you looking for like a 3 or 4 night, or are you looking for a 5, 6, 7, or even a longer cruise? That's something that you're going to want to look at. Where can you sail from? Because now Disney is sailing from a lot of different places. And not only do they have a home port at Port Canaveral, they also have one at Fort Lauderdale. Like that's a Disney terminal. Mm-hmm. It is just like its Port Canaveral home port. It has, I mean, not just like, but I'm saying it's a home port, just like Port Canaveral is. And that, I think that sometimes makes a difference. But in addition, Disney's sailing from Southern California at different times. They're sailing to Alaska at different times. They're sailing over in Europe during the summer. So there's so many different
out of Texas too, for folks that are down in the Gulf.
Yes, our Texas people, and we have a lot of Texas agents, are going to love that they have the option of Disney Cruise Line sailing out of Galveston at certain points. So that is all the things that you're sort of going to want to take stock of. And I can't say that absolutely one Disney Cruise Line ship is better than another. They are different, and they're different for a reason. And you will find people who love the classic ships as much as like the Dream and the Fantasy, as much as people like the newer ships. So it really is so varied. But start with the itinerary and where you're going to sail from and the number of nights, and then you narrow from there.
That's great advice, man. That's common sense approach. You got to go when you can go, and you know how long you can go. That kind of narrows it down right off the bat. But the cool thing is, it's like a nice little library at this point. You know, you get to see the different varieties even within a class, because the Wish to the Destiny to the Treasure, they all tell a different story. You know, just think of the most thematic restaurant. You get the Frozen story, you get the Coco story, you get the Lion King story, you know, so you can go within the class and get 3 different experiences with the same layout of the ship. The staterooms are going to be different thematically. You're going to get the hosted story throughout the adventure of the cruise. It's kind of fun, you know, and then you can get more of a general cruise experience on the Fantasy and the Dream. And then I love the classic ships. Man, I fell in love with the Magic again this summer. I love the adult area on the Magic was undefeated. I mean, so you're right.
It's a great time to be a Disney Cruise Line fan, because the world is sort of your oyster at this point.
It is so good. It's so good. You can just, you just can't really go wrong because they all have these advantages to each different ship. So it's so fun. Well, Pam, thanks for sharing that. We'll get to the world stuff and the Disneyland stuff here right away. But just want to give the Destiny its due because we got a lot of folks. I can tell you, I have a lot of guests getting ready to sail the Destiny soon, and so I want to get them amped up.
I
for
know.
that cruise.
We got to get them the information.
That's right. All right. Well, hey, happy weekend, everybody. Hope you're enjoying this holiday weekend here in the States and eating all the leftovers. And there you go for all of our friends sailing the Destiny. Let's go. And I'll give you some coverage here in a couple weeks as well. So don't forget, if you want to sail the Destiny, any of the Disney Cruise Line ships, best part, you can book with the Magic for less. Costs you exactly the same as booking with Disney Cruise Line. But here's the kicker. You're going to get a nice onboard credit that spends just like cash during your cruise. You can use that to book some tastings or spa appointments. You want to get a nice massage during your cruise. You could use it for merchandise during your sailing, but just don't use it for your gratuities. I'll find it. You can, but just don't tell me. You can use it for whatever you want. But we'll take care of you. We appreciate your business. And during this season of Thanksgiving, again, I want to thank all of my guests throughout the year for using our small business, for supporting the podcast by booking with the Magic for Less. It is appreciated every trip. Definitely appreciate it. So thank you so very much for that. You can book your next trip with us over at themagicforless.com. We're standing by. Don't forget, you can also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's Black Friday. You could click through those deals and support the show at the same time. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys keep us on the air. So a huge thank you to each and every one of you. You can support us just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this weekend. We'd sure love to have you. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. You can follow us on the social media at Be Our Guest Mike is where you'll find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. You can follow Pam at TMFLT Pam in those same places. And you can follow Ricky at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS. Make sure you follow her because she's down in Central Florida right now. And don't forget a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com for all the coverage there. Don't forget live show this Sunday night. That'll be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. You can call in. We'll be talking Disney with you. Phone lines will be open. And join the clubhouse. That's where we have about 1,700 of our listeners hanging out 24/7, 365, talking Disney, talking life, having a great time. Your invitation's waiting at beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. And if you're a lizard, get over to the Lizards page because the merch is live. Get your order in for the merch, your shirts, your hoodies, everything you need is live. Thanks to Mike Bankhead. All right. We're jumping out of here. Have a great weekend. We'll be back again on Monday with a great trip report show and Sunday night for the live call-in show. But until then, for Ricky and Pam and Scott, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.